Hey, Regina.
Happy New Year, Miss Marian.
Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. And we a few days in.
I know.
But we got a long way to go.
We got a long way to go. And it seems like the more seasoned I get, the faster each year goes by.
Yes.
When I was a kid, it would take forever when school started for summer to get here. And then forever for Christmas to get here.
Same.
And now it's just like you blink.
I know, and it's over.
And it's over.
It's over.
But we're excited about this
We
new
are,
year, right?
We are.
Okay.
So what are we doing?
What are we doing?
This is the fourth episode. Our fourth
four.
episode of
Two Sistahs Knittin Talkin shit. And we want to welcome all of you.
Every time we say it, it cracks us up.
It cracks us up.
We love it. You love it. So
yeah.
there it
and
is.
we thank you for listening to us talk shit. And we know that many of you like to talk shit too.
So it's a thing.
It's a thing.
And we love it. We love it. We love it.
It's a thing.
So what are we doing today? What are we
So
talking about?
today we've got what we think is a fun episode.
Oh, yeah.
We've planned for you. So Regina's going to talk about our drink of the episode.
Yes.
And it's a good one.
Yes.
I know we have not been drinking in advance.
Yes. No, we have not. Ain't no way they haven't had a drink. We haven't been drinking.
We have not. So we're going to talk about the drink of the episode, and then 2 episodes back. So episode 2, we asked you all to write your suggestions in the comments section about what it is that you would like for us to call you our subscribers. And you all had some wonderful suggestions. We narrowed it to the top 4 and had you all take a poll after episode 3. So we've got a big reveal for you. A reveal, big reveal. So we'll talk about that. As always, we're going to talk a little bit about what's on and off of our needles, acquisitions, and then maybe we'll share 1 or 2 of our personal goals and intentions for ourselves individually in 2025.
I love it.
And then maybe a couple of the high-level goals that we have for our channel.
Love it.
2 Sistahs Knittin Talkin shit.
2 Sistahs Knittin Talkin shit. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And in episode 3, we answered many of you all's burning questions, but you had more. So we'll answer the remaining of those burning questions. And then we will have a closing question for you to comment on in the comment section. And then we'll call it a wrap.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Love it.
Love it. So, on our holiday episode, we drank Glühwein, which is a warm wine holiday drink in Western Europe. I made or shared a recipe for a German traditional variety.
And it was
so
delicious.
yummy.
And we hope some of you made it.
Hope so.
And if you did, let us know how you liked it in the comments.
Exactly. A few of you even said, "Oh, my husband loves Glühwein," or "I do it every year." So it was good. So that's what we had. And we had it in our cute little Jolly Santa mugs. But Christy Taylor. Christy girl.
We see you.
She was like, great show, loved it. Suggestion, get some bro mugs.
So, Christy,
we did what you suggested.
We got some bro mugs.
For next year.
Yes.
Listen, the Glühwein is going to be even merrier and jollier and yummier in the bro mugs. So happy to share that. Great suggestion.
Thank you,
and
Christy.
Thank you, Christy. And believe it, when you make some good suggestions, we gonna follow them.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So about the drink we're imbibing today.
Yes.
So I know that many people like to observe a dry January, and we respect that. We are here for that. But that ain't what this is.
Right.
This is a little bit of orange juice and Saint Germain. So this is a really easy little cocktail.
It's like a mimosa.
It's like a mimosa.
Like,
it just doesn't have a sparkle. And when we first introduced the Saint Germain drink, and I think we called it Regina's Magic Nectar or whatever it was, whatever we called it.
Sweet Nectar, Regina's Sweet Nectar.
This is just a variation of that with no sparkling wine or champagne, because I forgot to go to the liquor store.
And that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
And listen, have we been drinking before the episode?
No, we had not.
We have not.
We have not. We just are loving life and laughing, and we're gonna get a drink. We should have toasted to two sisters.
Toast.
To two sisters knitting talking shit.
To two sisters knitting talking shit. Drink.
So here's
and
your
don't
drink.
spit on the yarn.
Don't spit on the yarn.
And one more. To a fantastic 2025.
I'll drink to that. Orange juice, Saint Germain. Okay.
So next up on the agenda, and we know this is what you've all been waiting for, is our subscriber. Because
we have subscribers.
And so you all voted, and you all gave us some wonderful suggestions. So we had a poll that was up in the community tab, and we had narrowed it down to the top 4 suggestions that you all had for us. One of the suggestions was the shit talkers. Right? The other another suggestion was the schnitters.
Yes, the schnitters. Another suggestion was the sisters.
The sisters.
And then the winning entry, which we're all excited about. They were all lots of fun.
Yes.
And we loved how you participated in the name. They were just so clever and fun and creative. But the winner by popular vote is the knit shits. The knit shits.
That's what you all voted on, with 31% of you voting that, or 31% of the total votes being the knit shits.
So we love it. We are here for the knit shits.
We really are here for the knit shits. So thanks so much.
Absolutely, we love it.
Yes.
All right, knit shits, get ready.
Get ready.
Okay.
So next up on our agenda is to talk about what's on and off of our needles and any acquisitions that we made between episode 3 and episode 4. So I don't know, do you want to go first?
Sure, I don't mind going first. So I don't have nothing off my needles because I have not finished the thing. But
and you know what, Regina? It's
that?
okay, because we're 60. And who cares?
And who cares? I don't care. So I told y'all a few episodes ago that I have like 15 things on needles, and I keep saying, and Marian keeps telling me, don't start anything else until you finish something. I'm like, yeah, which means no. I will start when I want to start, and I've bought some new yarn, so I'll talk about my acquisitions in a minute. But you saw what I was working on a few episodes ago, which is the open air wrap.
And you've made some good progress.
I've made some great progress. I can't wait to block this, but it is a lovely little lacy kind of pattern. This is
airy. So
light and airy. Perfect name. This is the Pearl Soho linen quill. So when this blocks, it's going to block beautifully. And this is about one skein, one ball, one cake. And so I'm really happy and hope to finish this in the next week.
Okay.
So that's what's on my needles. And should I talk about my acquisition? Or
you can talk. Or it doesn't matter. Why don't you talk about your acquisitions? You're going to...
Oh, yeah. So this little nifty thing, it's like a spindle. And I love it because it's so multi-purpose. I have a little strap that I can hook and then slide my hand through and knit on the go. I can lay this on a table and then it just spins and the yarn easily flows from the cake. Or I could hang the strap on like one of those little purse thing that you can put on the table to hold your purse, and you can have it there. It'll be like suspended and you can knit with it there. So it's a beautiful, so cute.
I love it.
And such a great acquisition and so useful. I wish I knew what it was called, but Twice Sheared Sheep, I think, is the maker of this particular one. So I am in love with that.
I love it.
Acquisition. So thank you very much. I can tell you one other. I've got so many. I've got a lot of yarn that I've acquired. I'm going to show you one. But I love these little coffee, espresso, cappuccino, latte, coffee cup needle stoppers.
Can you hold it up close to this?
Yeah,
so that folks
can you see it?
And we can block ourselves out.
Cute.
So that we aren't in the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute.
So I have a few of those, and that's part of my acquisition. And then one last thing I'm going to share is more Pearl Soho linen quill yarn. This is my favorite yarn right now. And at first I didn't love it, but I am making the sweater, the daily sweater, using linen quill. And when I blocked my swatch, I just loved how it feels. It's just a really beautiful yarn, easy to work with. And this color
is absolutely beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful? It's purple clematis. So yes, that's the name of the flower, and this is the name of the color. So those are my acquisitions. Oh, one other thing. I have another. Oh, I gotta tell you about my Swift and ball roller. Yes. I finally took the plunge, and I'm telling you, in my opinion, now I feel like a real knitter because she ain't gotta spin.
I don't have to wind.
You ain't gotta wind my yarn.
So it's
now I can do it myself. Right? It is a game changer. So that's one of my new shiny objects and all the new stuff. And so now I've got to knit some shit.
I love it.
Yes. So what do you have?
So what do I have? Well, I have one finished object to share with you all today. It's a little beanie. I'll try it on. This is actually, and I know he'll be watching.
I love it.
And it's okay, but this is a gift for my brother.
I love it.
And
oh wait, this is the one you just finished. You just started it and finished it like yesterday.
No.
Oh. Okay.
That's another one. I finished this one a little while ago, but hadn't shared it with,
that's right. Okay.
With the knit shits.
Got it.
And so this is the Orchard Harvest beanie. And this pattern is by Benjamin Moore. And it really is beautiful. It looks like, almost like, kind of like pyramid blocks. It's gorgeous. It's got a neat little pattern there. This was knit on US size 6 needles or 4 millimeter needles. Thank you. That was a tongue tie. And I'm in love. I think all the yarn just about that I have on the table today is Blue Sky yarn.
Oh, I like Blue Sky too.
Yeah, Blue Sky fiber. So this is their woolstock worsted Blue Sky fiber yarn in the color Earth Ivy. So that is my finished object for the episode. And then what's on my needles, I had posted a picture on Instagram of the Oslo hat that I'd knit for my nephew. He's skiing, or went skiing over the New Year's, and my sister-in-law said, even though we live in Texas, his mom would like a hat. So, sis,
here it is.
This is coming for you.
Right.
And this is the one that I started just a couple of days ago. So this is the traveler hat.
Yes. Now, is she a knit shit?
She is a knit shit.
Okay, all right. Wanted to make sure she's a knit
She
shit.
is a knit shit.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law is a knit shit. And so this is the traveler hat pattern by Andrea Mowry of Drea Renee Knits. Another Blue Sky Fibers. And this is also the Woolstock yarn in the color Morning Frost. So that's that. US size 7 needles, 4.5 millimeters. And this is for one of my nieces, and she picked out this yarn, and I got to get back on it. But this is going to be a shawl for her, and this is actually linen quill.
It looks like linen quill.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So this is linen quill, and it's beautiful. This is the Woodland Whispers shawl, and it was designed for Mayak, which is a yarn company mostly. But this is linen quill, and it is in the color chestnut red. And this is being knit on US 3 or 3.25 millimeter needles.
Okay.
And then I did complete one sock.
Yay, we got a sock.
We got a sock.
We got a sock.
Now we got to get
Another one.
to go with it. But this is the I'm So Basic sock that I talked about in episode 3 by Summer Lee.
And you're taking a class.
The class is over.
The class is ended, okay.
But I feel really confident now in making socks. And so...
It looks really good.
Doesn't it?
It does. It looks really good.
So you'll be seeing more socks on the
Yay.
channel.
Yay.
So...
You know what? I didn't say what size needles these are. I think they're 3s. These are US size 3s.
Are they 3s or 9s? Seems like they were larger.
That's for the 9s are the Stardust.
Okay.
Those are the 9s.
Okay.
These are 3s, which is 3.5 millimeter, but if these are 3s, well, I thought these were 3s, so we can double check.
We can double check.
Yeah.
And everything that you see that we've shown you will be in the show notes.
Yeah, I'm almost positive they're 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay, so that's what's on and off of our needles
Yeah.
and our acquisitions.
Yes. So we talked about some personal, maybe not resolutions, but some personal intentions, goals that we might be setting. And I'll be really honest, I've never been a very goal-oriented person. I know people who, and I think I've paid a price for that, but I want to be that. And so one of the words that I am ruminating over for this year is practice, 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 practice knitting. Practice everything that I want to do better. It takes practice.
Yes.
Whether it's loving, that's going to take practice. Whether I'm a bit of a hoarder and I am aware of it and I want to address that, and that's going to take practice, being organized. So that's one of my words. And the other is abundance. I just believe that there's enough out there for all of us.
Yes.
And
so many people have a scarcity mentality.
they really do.
And
I have not. I mean, maybe that's why I hoard, because, because there's abundance and I'm living. It's right in front of me every day. No, seriously, I know this is a serious problem for some people, and it's something that I really am aware of and want to address in my own life. So, but practice is the word that comes up for me when it comes to wanting to do better and to do well. And I know that tends to be not specific.
Yeah.
But I can use the term practice to apply to all these other areas where I will, develop, and it's going to be a work in progress, which is what practice allows us to do. So that's one that I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I think for myself, one of the things that I am practicing, I like that term, that I'm practicing this year, because sometimes I can be so serious and take things so serious, even though we do a lot of laughter on here, is to not take things so seriously. Like, nobody knows what they're doing. And I don't have to know what it is that I'm doing. And so I can be more loving to myself by not taking life so seriously and have fun. So that's one of my intentions for 2025, to have fun. And then one thing that I read about, I actually read about it last year. I saw it on Jay Shetty's Instagram account. And he's a motivational speaker, a former monk. But he said at the beginning of the year, what he does is takes a jar, and every week he writes down something good that happened that week. And then on December 31st, he opens the jar and he puts the list or whatever he wrote down in the jar. And December 31st, he opens the jar and reads all of the good things that have happened to him during the year.
I love that.
So I actually have a jar.
Oh, I like that.
And I've written a couple of things down already for this new year. And so I am going to make it a habit to write at least one good thing that happened during the week down and add to the jar for the year. So that's one of my goals too, so that
That's
I can
such
really
a great
appreciate.
reflective exercise too. That kind of forces you to reflect.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. 2025.
We ready for you?
We ready.
We ready. We ready.
We ready. High level goals for Two Sistahs Knittin Talkin shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk more shit.
More shit. With
And that
our
is
knit shits.
with our knit shits, and that is quantifiable. But I think that's something we've been talking about, wanting to bring levity. These are stressful times.
Absolutely.
We certainly have everyday stressors.
And we know that you all do too.
Absolutely. And so if there's something that any moments of levity or laughter, I think, are good medicine.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, so more laughter.
more laughter, levity.
Just good, clean fun.
Just good, well, not clean, but some fun. Some good, solid fun.
Solid fun.
Yeah, I think I said it in one of the solid fun. Okay, we'll drink to that. All right. I think I said in one of our other past episodes that we're having fun. We want to have fun doing this.
We do.
And
we are.
And if our subscribers and viewers are having fun watching us having fun, then we're all having fun. And we need to have fun.
We do need to have fun. And I would say along with the fun, along with the levity, the laughter, the joy, I'm going to jump out and put some numbers to it.
Go ahead.
And so I would like to see our channel grow to a minimum of 10,000 followers by December 31st. And I think that if we are bringing joy and levity and laughter and fun to the channel, that they will come. So what was it, Field of Dreams? If you build it,
they will come.
They will come.
And that we've already experienced that. We had no prediction early on how many folks would tune in and enjoy this. And so we talked about the meteoric rise of YouTube fame, so to speak. We talked about that in our holiday edition.
Yes, episode 3.
But we absolutely have seen the magic in what we're doing. And if that brings people to us, so be it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then we also have had a few people to ask us if we would do any knit-alongs. And we know we've got a lot of crocheters out there, and you all do crochet-alongs. And so we are planning to do that, maybe one in the spring and one in the fall. So stay tuned for that. So there will be a knit-along and a crochet-along coming, at least 2 this year. So that's something that we are manifesting for Two Sistahs Knittin Talkin share. And then the other thing that we want to do is really build community. And by building community, I think that we're going to have more fun. All the things that we're looking to manifest will happen. But one of the ways that we are thinking of doing that in 2025 is to periodically do Zoom calls where we get together as a group and knit or crochet and talk shit with each other. So,
because that's what we do.
That's what we do, and we do that so well.
So skilled.
And so that's something that's going to be forthcoming on the channel in 2025. So those are 3 of our high-level goals. Yeah. Anything else to add?
I don't think so. I mean, we'll maybe grab a goal or 2 during the year.
Okay.
We'll be fluid with this.
Yes.
But yeah, if you build it, they will come. And I think we've already seen the power of the. Oh, I might add one little thing. We're learning. I think I can speak for you when I say this. We're learning how to capture the best of who we are in this platform, and the term brand. There's a brand now that I think we're realizing that we have and want to develop even further.
Yes.
And that's been affirmed by a number of our subscribers. So that's also, I think, a high level goal for 2025 to really explore and develop our brand.
I like that.
Yeah. And that ain't no. That's yes. Yes.
I love it.
All right.
So what's next?
Some questions from the knit shits.
Some questions, more of their burning
questions from the knit shits.
So I have them written down. So the first question comes from Heather Hott, 6445. Hey, Heather.
Hey, Heather.
So Heather asked, how did we both start knitting, and what has been our favorite item to knit so far? So I started knitting, as I shared in the last episode, when I was in college. And the reason that I started to knit is because it seems like everybody that lived in my house, we called them houses instead of dorms, but it seemed like many of the women who lived in my house were knitters, and they would wear the most beautiful sweaters. And so I got the knitting bug that way. And this was before the internet and before any of that stuff. So I went to one of the local yarn stores. We had some beautiful yarn stores in Northampton, Massachusetts, and I bought a book and taught myself. And when I would have a question or get stuck, I would ask some of the women who lived in the house to help. But that's how I got started knitting.
For me, my grandmother did teach me to crochet many, many years ago. It was nothing that I kept doing or, continued through the years. But when I was working in Southern California in Santa Monica, I met a lovely, lovely human being, Dawn Murphy.
Hey,
Jackman.
Dawn.
Hey, Dawn. We love you, girl. She is a master knitter. And her color work is stunning. She spins her own yarn. And I just admired her. And we became fast friends through the work, not even through her knitting. I didn't even know she was a knitter when we first became really good friends. And some years later, we both moved on, but we maintained contact, and she's very active in the folk school movement. She wants to open a folk school.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And it was an endeavor that she shared with me and said, when I do this, I want you to be involved. But I don't know how to do that. So she always, was encouraging me, knit. So COVID hits, and she reaches out to me and she says, I'm paying for you to take some knitting classes.
Oh, that's nice.
She sent me a few videos. She, in fact, sent me a project that she had already started. And that's where we started with instruction. So she sends this this little project in the round,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't know what I was looking at. And I was like, wait a minute, why are the knitting needles joined? I never saw that, right? I never saw circular needles. They were all just straight needles. So I was like, that's odd, and this looks too hard. Anyway, long story short, took a class. I would not say that it was like a duck to water. I was making a lot of mistakes.
As new knitters do.
As new knitters do. But I lost heart and kind of lost interest. Even though I had made a few, that's how I got to my chunky cowl thing, you know, and that's why I thought, well, I got some skills. I made something that I will wear. But then through serendipity, Marian and I reconnected. We talk about this in an earlier episode. And I guess it was about not quite a year and a half ago when I really got serious about knitting and decided, you know, I want to have something that I'm going to do every day and that will, my progression and my skill level will be evident with this daily practice. We're back to the practice.
Yes.
And that was something that I was yearning for. Whether it was my twin brother said, oh, you need to buy a keyboard. And I was like, okay. Didn't do that. But knitting provided that thing that I was kind of searching for. So I really got serious about it. Like I said, about not quite a year and a half ago. And I've been hooked ever since.
Yes.
I make hats for celebrities.
Yes,
they don't know it. They don't know it. But so yeah, it's really taken off, and I've seen my skills grow by leaps and bounds. And it's something I try to do every single day.
And I've seen lots of improvement.
Yeah.
And so you've really done well. Well, do you have a favorite thing that you like to knit?
Right now, I am loving what I showed you earlier, which is this open air wrap. I like wraps and scarves because I like scarves, as you can see. I think in another one of our episodes, I'm wearing a scarf. I like scarves. And I like wraps, and I like shawls. And I made my first hat. I've made 2 hats. But as a favorite, right now, I'm really loving this open air. So that might change. But for now, this is my favorite thing to knit.
And I'm trying to think if I have a favorite thing to knit. Sometimes my attention span is not very long. And so I have knit sweaters in the past. In fact, when I taught myself to knit, I was dating this guy, and I was gonna make him this fisherman sweater.
Like a cable knit?
Like a cable knit sweater.
Oh,
This was gonna be my first project. And so for Christmas that year, this was my this was my junior year, Christmas of my junior year in college. So bought this beautiful yarn from a yarn store. I had gone with one of my really good friends for one of our breaks. We had gone to Portland, Maine, and they've got some wonderful yarn stores there, and or at least they did, all these many years ago. And so bought this beautiful yarn, made this beautiful cable knit sweater, but I couldn't finish it. I didn't finish it in time. So it was finished, but just not seamed up. So I remember putting all the pieces in the box, wrapping it nicely, and giving him an unfinished sweater so he would have that under the tree. But I did finish it, and it was nice, and I hope he appreciated it. And I remember making a sweater for my mom. And then I put the knitting away for a while, and I would just pick it. Even though I taught myself to knit many, many years ago, I've been inconsistent with my knitting. So on and off over the years. But I would always pick it up periodically, and especially if I was really feeling a stress or anxiety. And the thing that I would gravitate to is hats and scarves as well, because they're quick and easy projects, and I can finish those. So lots of hats and scarves. But I can't say that I have a favorite hat or a favorite scarf that I like to knit. But I guess those would be my favorite projects that I'd like to knit.
You know, one thing I want to say about this open air and the other wrap that I'm making, which is the Stardust wrap, or one of the other projects I have on needles. In fact, I think I have 3 sets of needles with the same project, which is the daily scarf, the Pearl Soho daily scarf. I also have the Simplicity scarf on needles. What I love about those projects is because I travel so much for my job, I don't need a pattern. I don't have to schlep around the pattern, or, you know, even though I could look at it on my phone, but that doesn't, I have to print the pattern out.
Right.
You taught me that, read it through. But these are really patterns that you could commit to memory, because there's no change in the, it's either stockinette, and you may do something on either end, or it's something like this, which I mentioned in the last video, is yarn over purl 2 together. So that's all it is.
Yeah, so
except
it's kind of mindless.
So it's mindless knitting. And I just want to make a plug for all of the women out there to have their mammograms. I just had my mammogram, and as I was waiting, I was knitting on this open air. And in fact, the X-ray tech who came to retrieve me from the waiting room and walk me in was like, "Are you making that for me?" I was like, "Yes, girl." But this is what you gotta do. You gotta look at 2 sisters knitting, talking shit. So I was also promoting our channel. So anyway,
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And if she's watching the channel, she can see the progress that you made.
Yes, she can.
Hey, girl, hey. As they say. Well, along those lines then, because you had mentioned a couple of things that I think would be helpful, but we had a question from Shelby Denise. Hey, Shelby.
Hey, Shelby.
And Shelby asked, what tips do we have for new knitters? Is there anything that we've learned along the way that would have been helpful to know when you first started? So I would say for new knitters, number 1, practice.
Yep.
Daily, if you can, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, practice. That helps you build consistency. It helps you build discipline. It helps you learn to recognize the stitches, because knitting is really comprised of 2 stitches, and then you have variations on those stitches. So you have the knit stitch and the purl stitch, and then every other stitch I think is really a variation of the knit stitch and the purl stitch. But by practicing your knitting every day, you learn to recognize the knit stitch and the purl stitch. So as you're reading through your pattern, you can see what stitch did I just complete, so that you know what stitch you need to do next in that pattern. Or if you've made a mistake, you can recognize that quicker. So those would be 2 things that I would say. I'm sure more will come as we talk.
I mean, I would agree. I think even with this project, I've made a couple of mistakes, and I can see the mistake while it's on the needle, and then either go back and tink or frog a few rows. And this is an easy one to frog, because as I said, it's yarn over purl 2 together, yarn over purl 2 together. But I don't even have to count the stitches anymore. When I first started, I was having to count to make sure that I had the right number of stitches. Now I can look at it and see that I may be off if I've dropped a yarn over, or if I didn't didn't purl 2 together, but purled 1. I can tell just by looking at it, and that is from all of the practice and consistency. So I would agree. I would also say, you know, what I have learned is don't knit when you're sleepy.
Yes.
Even if you have to stop in the middle of the row. That's what these, what we say they call them? Needle stoppers or whatever. That's what those are for. You don't have to, I mean, there were times when, and it happened with this this pattern, the open air pattern, I would, okay, let me just finish this last row. I know my eyes are getting heavy. Let me just finish this last row. And then the next day I'm like, okay, what did I do right here? I have learned that stop. When you're sleepy, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Stop.
Stop. I think the thing that I would also add is that you are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's just part of the process. And it does not matter how long you've knit and what your skill level is. Mistakes are going to happen. And it's okay. As you build your experience knitting and recognizing the stitches, you'll recognize those mistakes sooner and then be able to correct them sooner. But don't think that you'll ever get to the point where you make mistakes, or where you will not make mistakes, I should say. Mistakes are going to happen, and it's okay.
I'm really trying to, I've gotten to a point where I've completely had a mind shift on the whole mistake thing, right? So I congratulate myself when I see that there's a mistake. And then if I have to go back a few rows, then I don't congratulate myself for that, but I see the benefit. If I have to knit it all over again, it's just more practice. And it just means it's going to get better and better. And I think that's how it works. That's how a lot of this works.
And then I think the other kind of quick tip, I mean, there are lots of tips that we could give, but the other quick tip, and you alluded to it, I think, and may have mentioned it earlier, print your pattern, mark it up. Don't be afraid to write on it. Circle. If you see my patterns, and you've seen they have writing on them. I circle words because sometimes it's easy. Read the pattern 2 or 3 times just to make sure that you understand what it's saying. So highlight, read your pattern, print your pattern, and Regina said, if you're tired, put it down.
Put it down.
When you come back to your work, read your pattern again, because it's easy. You know, our minds, we know what it is that we want to say or that we want to see, so we can make shit up. When we're looking on that pattern and think it says one thing and it really doesn't. So that's important.
And start off with, you don't have to jump from a chunky cowl to a sweater. I mean, I do believe that you have to challenge yourself in order to get better.
Right.
But you have to have the foundational.
Yes.
You have to have the fundamentals.
Yes.
And these kinds of mindless knitting projects help practice the fundamentals.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think that'll give you a good start. And then I would encourage the knit shits. To add their own. To add their other tips for new knitters in the comments section. So that would be helpful.
Because there's lots of wisdom with the knit shits.
That's
the knit shits,
they
drink and they know things.
They drink
and they
know things.
See, we've been letting this sit so long, the ice done melted.
I know, and I might need to top this one off. So let's see. Another question we had is, what made us both yarn snobs? We had mentioned that in our first episode. So in episode 1, what made us yarn snobs? You want to go first or you want me?
I'm happy to go first. We have done the, I can't think of the name of the book, the
Building Blocks.
Building Blocks.
Tell them what Building Blocks, because everybody might not know what that is.
It's a book that you can Google. These are, you end up with like an Afghan or baby blanket, but you're learning all these different skills.
So there are 12 different
blocks.
And each block, you're learning a new skill.
Yeah. And you're practicing, like making your border, which is the same for each of the blocks. It's just a really great instructional book that I poo-pooed.
Yes, she
when
did.
When she was like,
I ain't doing that.
I'm not doing that.
And I said, okay, well, we are. Because I was helping our other friends learn to knit. And I was like, this will be good. And I told her, I said, well, then you just do what you do, but don't ask me for help.
Well, and
that's why she says I'm mean.
Well, she is. She's mean. And there are lots of other reasons I say she's mean. But yes, I decided maybe I should do the building blocks. So I did, and it was a really great exercise for me. But we bought cheap yarn. I won't say from where, but it was just cheap yarn that was beaten up and
We're not gonna say it was cheap.
It was
just
cheap.
gonna
It was
say
cheap.
inexpensive.
It was cheap. It was cheap. It was cheaply made. It was cheaply acquired. And I was like, I don't like this. But I mean, I didn't know I didn't like it until I purchased a higher quality yarn and started making things with that. I was like, oh, this is different. I like the feel of this better. I like how it even looks better. I mean, everybody should just get what you can afford.
Right.
But so let's not get into debt, buying all this kind of expensive yarn.
Right.
But a lot of these places have great sales. Pearl Soho has great sales, and we are always jumping on it. Hence the purple clematis.
Yes.
And the other color that I didn't mention that I don't have today is the super orange. I bought that. It was all on sale. So we're not promoting that people go broke trying to, get good yarn, but you'll see as you progress through your projects that, good yarn makes for a really good project. And it does feel different.
It does.
And it looks different.
Yeah.
Like anything else.
Yeah.
It's an investment.
Yeah. And I think what made me a yarn snob, so my mother and my grandmother were both really good sewists growing up, and or when I was growing up. And my mom had a really good friend that she used to work with, Mrs. Anderson, who's no longer with us in this realm. But she and my mom, and Mrs. Anderson was an excellent seamstress. I mean, all of her stuff, Saks Fifth Avenue or Neiman's or any of those high-end stores, that's what her stuff, the finishings, when you looked on the inside, you couldn't tell what you bought in a high-end store versus what she made by hand. But anyway, Mrs. Anderson would often ask or, call my mom and say, well, Marian, let's go feel fabric. And I used to go feel fabric with them in the fabric stores, and started learning the feel of different types of fabric. And so then when we would go shopping for clothes or whatnot at the mall, I would start to feel the fabric and would learn the difference between something that was quality and that would last versus something that was more of a lesser quality and may not last so long. And so as a result of that, I feel yarn, and I can tell the difference just in the touch of the quality, how it feels against my skin, how it feels in my hands, and so that's why I'm a yarn snob.
I have a similar story. I took a sewing class when I was a senior in high school, third quarter, so we're about to graduate. I was taking it to fulfill a graduation requirement. And because I was like, I ain't trying to be sewing. Why am I doing sewing? But I needed an elective. And so I signed up, took a class, and our first project was a tote bag. And I was working at Rich's. Remember Rich's?
I do remember Rich's.
I was working at Rich's. For you Atlanta natives, you will remember Rich's. So I was working at Rich's, and Rich's used to sell fabric.
They sure did.
They used to sell fabric and patterns. And I went to school. There was a Rich's not far from my high school. And I went there to look for some fabric, and I saw that everyone else was choosing like this, just
50 cent fabric.
Yeah. And I looked, and like you're saying, went through it to feel the fabric, and I thought, well, if I'm gonna make a bag, I don't want to just throw it together. And I bought this amazing heavy denim. And I bought these amazing notions to go with it. I was like, I want my bag to be nice. And I made my bag. It was a lovely bag. And I will never forget my sewing teacher, Charlie Mae Wilson, God rest her soul, said to me, Regina, if you had been sewing. If you had taken my class in the 9th grade, you'd be making your whole wardrobe because you pay attention to details. And that's what you're saying about this lady who influenced you. You pay attention to detail. You like how something feels. It's not just grabbing something and wanting to just complete the project, which is why I thought I was getting into this sewing class, but it became something much more important to me after that. And I think that's the other thing about Yarn Snobs, right? It's important to us.
It's important to us. And there is a difference between, in my mind, between something that is homemade and something that is handmade. And so that's why I don't sew. To this day, I have tried. And if the seam isn't straight, I'm ripping it apart and sewing it again and ripping it apart and sewing it again.
Well, that's the perfectionism too.
That's the perfectionism too. So if it looks to me homemade, I'm not gonna wear it.
Right.
And so anyway, but there is something out there for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not judging anybody.
Right.
I'm just talking about what's important.
What's important? Yeah. The question was, how did we become yarn snobs? And so I think we got it honest.
Yeah, I think so. And then our final question then for today, and this comes, this question is from By Gwen Design. Hey, Gwen! We're gonna have to knit with you one day. But Gwen asked us, how often do we travel? How often do you yarn travel? That's her question. How often do you yarn travel? And to date, we haven't done any yarn travel, because I think you're asking, do we go to yarn festivals and things like that? And we've not done that. But sometimes I will visit yarn stores when I travel. When I was working, I used to travel between 50 and 75% of the time, depending on the time of year and what was required for my job. So I would go to local yarn stores in the places that I would travel to. But maybe we'll do some yarn travel this year. If not this year, maybe next year. We'll see. But to date, we haven't done any yarn travel.
But there's time. We got a long way to go to end 2025.
Absolutely.
And then we ain't going nowhere. So that's on the list.
That's on the list.
That's on the list.
That's on the list. So those are some more of your burning questions. We'll answer some more in future videos.
Okay, well, we are about to close this episode. And but we don't want to do that without leaving a question for you to answer. We appreciate your engagement. So we've got a couple of questions for you. What are you working on? For all of the makers out there who are tuning in and who are subscribers, tell us what you're working on.
That's right. Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments.
Because it might give us some ideas.
Absolutely. I love that. And then for those who are not makers, but who like watching our channel, just share with us what your intentions are for 2025. If you have any, let us know what you're working on personally. What are some of your goals? Just let us know so we can be right there with you.
Right, and cheer you on.
Yeah.
We really do want to know.
Yeah.
And I guess with that,
I think that wraps us up.
That wraps up episode 4 of Two Sisters Knittin Talkin Shit. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.